So we're back on the 250. I'm gonna go ahead and drop in the transmission gears, get the drum and the shift forks in, and then we should be able to seal the cases up and get everything back together. So those all in. So now we'll get the shift forks in and the shift drum. Alright, so you've got right rear, middle, and front. So that's right, baby. Alright, so put the reverse gear in now. Let's just line up just like this. And now we have the whole bottom end in and ready to go. Okay, just a tiny bit. The rest of the gasket looks great, so I don't want to ruin it. Make it harder for the next person. That's not where that goes. It goes down here. There's one. And the other one goes up top here in this far corner. So now I got the gasket all lined up. Take our case half and set it down on there. Don't force it, let it just fall into place, just like that. Okay, my drill. So we'll close down these. Okay. So now we can flip this thing over. So now we'll go to this side and start reassembling everything. So we've got the one-way gear, the flywheel, the reverse actuator, and the shift lever arm. So now we're going to go ahead and reassemble the stator side. We've got a roller bearing that sits underneath the starter gear. So make sure that's in there as well. Put a little oil on it if it's new. And just drop that on. Make sure your woodruff key is in and not missing. And that'll just drop right on. Go ahead and put your washer with its special seat. That'll go in. And then you just go ahead and thread this 14 mil. So then we'll go ahead and install the starter gears. Okay. So then from there we'll install our reverse shift lever actuator. Okay, so from there you just take the spring and you loop it back onto this notch here. Have to use these long reach pliers and just grab it by the end. And that's it. So we just drop those two shafts, this shaft down in this hole. So when you put the stator cover on, the shift arm sits in here to actuate it up and down. So pay attention to that when you put it back on. Otherwise, shouldn't have an issue. Okay, so we'll get a gasket on here and get this side all put back together. Okay, we'll go ahead and put this fresh gasket on. Alright, so we got the cover on. I think the camera might have fallen, but got the cover on, got all the bolts locked down. So we're going to put the little reverse actuator on. Takes a little 10 mil nut. Okay, and then we'll put the drive shaft coupler on, or cover. Okay, so those are all on. Side is pretty much done, except for the things we'll do on the machine. So now I'll spin it to the clutch side and start rebuilding this. First thing we'll install is the oil pump chain and sprocket. And those sit on the lower teeth on the drive shaft. So I'll put this gear on. Actually, what I like to do is get the gear onto the teeth and then walk it down and then seat it onto these teeth here. Almost. Okay, just like that. And we'll get snap ring pliers and put this snap ring back on. Alright. Okay. So now I got the oil pump chain on. We'll go ahead and put the cam chain on. But before we do that, we're going to open this hole here and get the crank to top dead center so that we can put it into time. And then I'll show you how to time it. It's really easy. Got it at top dead center. So then we'll go ahead and take our cam, and there's a dot right here above this hole, and we're going to line that up with this mark here on the case. Okay, so you might not be able to see, but there it is. So we're at top dead center here. I move this over here, and we're perfect. Okay. Timing chain is on. Now we'll put the timing chain tensioner on. Okay. Nice. Timing chain is perfect. Nice and tight, but not too tight. Perfect. Okay, so from there, we'll start with the shift stuff. So that's that. So now we can start putting the clutches back on. So we got this shoulder for the primary clutch, and then this just drops right on there, just like that. There's a washer and 22mm nut. Okay. So then we'll take, there's a little indentation on the shaft, and you just punch this just like that. So now it's locked in. There we go. Okay, so same thing here. We'll punch. Okay, one more. Alright, so we got the clutch and the centrifugal clutch back on. Everything's back on this side. Go ahead and put the gasket on and seal this side up. Wait. Okay. Wow. All right. So onto the top. Okay. There's the piston. Okay. So piston is now on. Go ahead and put the cylinder on. Ugh. Wow, that actually went on really easy. You get that? Yeah, kind of. Okay, so we'll put the push rods back in. We'll get the head gasket on. Okay, now we can put the cylinder cover on. All right, got her all back together. Go ahead and put it on the machine and get it all buttoned up. Heck yeah. So I've got the motor in the cradle, in the frame. I've got the ground connected and the oil lines, the 2 oil lines. So I've got the 2 oil lines connected. I've got the stator connected. So I'm gonna go ahead and push the output shaft into the drive shaft spline here. I'll just walk it in and set these in, and then there's a little spacer that sits in the front to push it, to hold it on. It's pretty basic. Set the camera down so we can see what's going on. Okay, so just like that, sits right in there. Okay, so then we'll take our bolt and lift the motor into place. Make sure you have your washers, your rubber bumper washers. Okay, so we'll get that started. Just take our pry bar, get it under there a little bit, and just gently rock it in. Just like that. And we'll do the same to the other side. So same thing, make sure it's pushed up against the back. You can just wedge this spacer in here. Just line that up. And then we'll just like that. Okay, so now we're gonna install the starter. Just slides in to this hole and held on by 2 bolts. Just push this in like that. O-ring seals the Okay, so now we'll get the exhaust on here. Just feed it in. Just like that. All right, so we got our reverse lever in, our cable. We're gonna go ahead and fill it up. Just turns over. So we're gonna put some oil in there, and we will fill the carb up with some gasoline and see if she runs. Okay. Put some oil in. All right, let's see if it fires up. Woo! Right up.
pretty good. Top end sounds really nice. Let's let it do a heat cycle. Well, not gonna hide my mess ups. So I forgot to tighten the oil drain bolt. You know, made it 50 feet out of the backyard. and that shit just started pouring out. So that's my fault. But you know, nobody's perfect, right? So looks like I lost about a quart of oil. I'll let it set for a minute and then I'll check it and then refill it, and then I'm going to take it for a test ride. Alright, so this one's all done. It runs amazing. I went ahead and added another quart of oil since, you know, my mess up. But yeah, rode it up and down the street. Can't really ride it too much around my area because I live in a residential neighborhood, but it is what it is. I'm very confident that this thing is 100% ready to rock. So get this thing cleaned up a little bit, maybe do a little TLC on these plastics, a little faded and scratched, a little sand and buff. But man, this thing is nice. So after all I spent, you know, there's still definitely some profit to be made on this one, so it's a win. I'm excited. We'll get this one all cleaned up, post it for sale. If you're in Southern California, send me a message if you're interested. But anyways, thanks for watching. If you made it to the end, I really appreciate it. I know I'm probably not the best YouTube channel you've watched, but you know, you want to give me any pointers or anything I missed, please. I'm interested in the feedback. You know, I really want to, you know, show my love for these machines and, you know, help someone out if I can. So yep, so really appreciate it. Thanks, and like and subscribe if you can, and see you in the next one.